Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Well, guys, I think it's that time of the year again, albeit this year I'm doing it a little later than I usually do. I felt like since we were in the last year of a 4-year bull cycle, now would be probably a more appropriate time to do this video. How much XRP do I need to retire? And as you guys can see over the years, I've done these videos every single year. I want to update this video, every year because obviously, things change in the market. Things change for Ripple and XRP. We're always under the presumption that, the world is getting better and more crypto adoption is occurring. So I thought I would take a bit of a different approach this year. What I wanted to do was take some previous videos that I've recorded over the year and take a look at some of those particular XRP targets and to plug them into my retirement chart. Now, of course, we still don't know how high XRP is going to go and over what kind of time frame we're going to see that. So I just kind of wanted to take just a few examples here. This one I did pretty recently back in September, and we were looking at a measured impulse move from back in September. Now, obviously, we are far into October and the price is looking different, but I thought I'd still take this as a possible approach. So guys, here's this particular price projection model. We're going to go over a few of them, and then we're going to take a look at some numbers, okay? We're going to crunch some numbers and see how much XRP we should account for if we want to retire comfortably. And of course, everybody's goals are going to be different, so we're going to get into that later on in the video. Here's how I got to this price prediction. Listen to this. And this is remarkable. I can't believe this is actually these numbers actually checked out. And so I did this obviously before I recorded this video just to demonstrate where we are today. So today we are about September 13th. Okay, this is September 13th, 2017. And if you just take a look at that first pump, so this is where we are today. If we were to just take the day, okay, and I'm just taking the price from this day here, taking it up to the first that first impulsive move to the upside, that is about 335%. Now, take a look at this, okay? And I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is not how you do technical analysis, but I just thought this was remarkable. Check this out from today, okay? We're already seeing a bit of a pump. If we take XRP up another 335%, okay, from today's price, which is around that same price there, okay? So that's roughly where we are there. You know where that leaves us, guys? I'm going to show you. It's remarkable how these, it almost makes you feel like you're in a simulation. Check that out, guys. Boom, pinpointed pretty much right to the top. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, a $13.83 XRP. So are we in a simulation? Are we ready? Guys, a $13.83 XRP. So we're going to use that as our first figure. So I've got the chart up here. How much XRP do I need to retire in 2025? And our first figure, guys, is going to be we're going to plug these numbers in later, $13.83 per coin. And now I've got two other targets that make sense in a lot of ways. I mean, we can talk about this one for a second. We were just taking the measured move from back in September. But when we take the Fibonacci from the top of the former bull run to the trough of the market, guys, that is the full fib. The 4.236 also brings us up to about $13.83. So that is, a very popular target that we've seen time and time again. More recently, I did another video here. Remember the crypto flush from a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, that wasn't fun for anybody. But this person here on Twitter did describe a situation that he noticed on the XRP chart, essentially getting the XRP price up to a new high. But you know what? When looking at the history on the chart, it kind of makes sense. Listen to this. Ether Nessianal here posting this. XRP cyclical structure is showing a striking similarity once again, okay? After the major rally in 2017, and if you guys were here, you remember that. It was explosive. The price was rejected at the 2013 all-time high. Okay, the level was then retested in 2014, which had previously acted as resistance. After accumulating strength in this area, it began its parabolic run to the upside. So now we look at today's picture, and guys, it's looking very, very similar. After a strong surge in 2024, the price was rejected at the 2017 high, or rather 2018 high. So that was in and around here. That level was retested. So it retested the 2021 high, which had previously acted as resistance. Now the power accumulation phase is ongoing in this region. Follow this consolidation. The next parabolic run will be inevitable. So if we do, in fact, follow this same kind of structure here, guys, something that we've been talking about for a while, and we did, as you guys can see, we did wick down into this demand zone or level of support. So they are interchangeable terms, demand zone, support level. We did do that in 2014. by 2017, we did dip down in that region, and we made this first impulsive move to the upside. Well, guys, if the same thing happens today, look at that. We wicked down into this demand zone. We are now significantly above it. So what does that ultimately mean for XRP? I'm going to put some lines on this chart just to show you guys what they're noticing here. First, I'm going to bring up the former all-time high, okay, from December 2017 or early January 2018 for XRP. As you guys can see, we are testing that high today, okay? So this is just, the chart today just demonstrates the same thing that we were seeing back in here when we were testing that high back in here, okay? So we were testing that high before that next impulsive move to the upside. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is this, okay? The high where we were trying to get at in 2021. So I'm just going to put a horizontal ray there just to give you guys a sense of where I'm starting this line here, okay? So 2021, now we've tested that support a few times. But guys, this was the big test, the big wick down, okay? And now we are significantly above that level. That final test, that was about $1.96, $1.97, give or take, I guess just depending on which exchange you're looking at. And let's take it from here. Take a look at that. That former high retested that level in April of 2017. So now, guys, what we are to expect is a pump to the upside. And so if I were to just throw a Fibonacci on there, you guys can see it really just exploded. It really kind of outperformed the Fib. What I'm going to do, and what I sometimes do on this channel just to get a different type of price projection, I mean, you can see when you line that up with the 0.5, okay, we get up to the 4.236, and so that got us up to about 39 cents back in 2017. That was the top of that trend before it calmed down, and then we saw that next push to the upside that made new all-time highs in early 2018. Well, if we take a look at that, and we use the same philosophy, and we use the same metrics here, and we bring this down, and we assume this is the bottom, okay? This is the wick that does represent the bottom, and we do, in fact, bring this up here, and we can line that up with the 0.5. So let's line that up right there with the 0.5. You guys can see that in there. What could that mean, guys? If we do see this next impulsive move to the upside, could that in fact get the price of XRP upwards of $19.29 per coin? And the fact of the matter remains, that might not even be the end, guys. We could in fact see another impulsive move to the upside, maybe moving into 2026 and beyond. I don't know. These are just price projections, something that we've seen on the chart in the past, something that we certainly have to consider. So there you guys have it, another price projection here, $19.29. So I'm going to put that in there, $19.29. Okay, for one XRP. But then, guys, of course, there's the real world utility. How is that going to fare if we do see real world utility? I mean, even if it's not by the end of 25, even if it does go into 2026, we have to consider the tokenization of everything and how somebody like Robert Mitchnick has described it. I used a price calculator that was created by one of the XRP community based on Robbie Mitchnick and Susan Athey's calculator. So guys, here's another projection moving into maybe a real world utility scenario if you don't plan on retiring right away and don't mind holding your XRP for a little longer. Listen to this. Then I thought I'd take that to CryptoCalc here, and this is a great little tool. The person who created this, I'm sorry if you're watching out there, I do forget your name at the moment, but to the person who created this, they do, if you put your cursor in the field there, they give you a bit of a description of what that field is supposed to represent. So again, I will link this in the description of the video for you guys. I'm putting it on low just to give you guys an easy example. So if we look at max transaction volume, and if we are to assume that it is in the quadrillions of dollars, I'm going to take, let's just start at the lowest amount, okay? $2 quadrillion. So that's million, trillion, or sorry, billion, then that's trillion, then that's quadrillion. Whoops. Let's do that one more time. Million, billion, trillion, quadrillion. And the transaction volumes is in trillions. So let's divide that by 1 trillion. Okay, and we get a final factor of 2,000. Okay, so we're going to divide 2,000 by 365 days because this is daily transactions. So that is 5.479. 5.479. And we got to look steady state year. That means when we think this market is going to mature. Valuation year, we're going to put this year in here. And gold market share. So at this point in time, gold wasn't really on many people's radar, but Today it is. The BRICS nations are obviously going to be using gold in a more meaningful capacity. And by the year 2030, who knows? It could be up, nearly 35%. Also, let's take a look at locked supply. Okay, so that's locked supply of XRP. How much supply will be locked up when we hit that steady state date? Well, currently we have circulating supply at 57 point, let's call it 57.5. And if we decide to take the difference of that, 100 minus 57.49. So locked supply right now, 42.51. But I mean, by the year 2030, we might have more like something like 70 billion XRP in circulation and then only 30 billion locked up. So we're going to leave it at 30 there. So valuation year 2025, market growth. This is an interesting one, 8.5%. I find that quite conservative. I'm going to put it at 15% because I think, we're going to see exponential growth as this occurs. So now let's calculate, guys. Current valuation, $9.39. But if we hit calculate, you guys can see that number does go up significantly to $95.39 per XRP for future value. If we are to assume that, much of this is going to be tokenized on the XRP ledger in the quadrillions, and that's only at 2 quadrillion. So guys, if we are in a situation where tokenization has taken over and maybe we're a few years in, $95.39 for 1 XRP. So let's put that number in there too, just to give us some kind of a guide as to where we can kind of look, to see what might happen in the near future. So then the question becomes, how much money do you really need to retire? And I'm sorry, I put 1920. These should be 1929. But guys, you have to ask yourself, how comfortably do you want to retire? Also, it's going to really depend on how old you are. I mean, if you're 60, you might need less XRP to retire than if you're 25, right? So let's do some quick math here, okay? And, if you guys think that these numbers are realistic, maybe you want to add some different targets in here. Maybe you want to add some lower targets like $4 or $5 for 1 XRP. I mean, we can do that too. That's super, super conservative. But if you wanted to retire, let's say with $1 million, okay? Let's put in $1 million here and let's just divide that by 1383. Well, guys, what you need, 72,306 XRP. If we do hit that target, the lower end at $13.83. Well, let's say we can get up to a higher price. Okay, let's divide 1 million divided by 1929. Well, then you'd only need 51,840 XRP. So 51. What was that? 840 XRP. A lot better than definitely having to need more, right? But guys, let's say XRP goes over $95 per coin. Let's do some math here. Well, in that case, guys, you just need over 10,000 XRP. It's 10,483, 10,483. Okay, so you guys are seeing now how these numbers calculate just depending on how much XRP you have. And I mean, I guess just to put things into perspective here, I got the rich list up here. So to have even 72,000 XRP, that puts you somewhere in the 1%, right? Having above 50,000, but under 93,000. So just slightly higher than 1%, between 0.5% and 1% of people. And if you only had 51,000 XRP, that would put you between the 2 and 1%, right? If you had 10,000 XRP, guys, that brings you in the 4%. So, just depending on the situation, a lot of XRP holders could get there based on these numbers. But, $1 million really isn't that much. Let's say you needed $3 million. And of course, these numbers are going to be based on, how you see your lifestyle. It could be different if you want Lamborghinis. It could be different, depending on what kind of lifestyle you want to live. Also, depending on where you want to live, you can move to a tax-free jurisdiction like the UAE and Dubai, where you wouldn't pay any income tax. And so these are lifestyle changes you might need to think about before you start cashing out of your XRP. Okay, but what if you needed $3 million? Okay, let's see, 3 million. And let's just do some quick calculations here, divided by 1383. Well, in this case, guys, you'd still need $216,919. So 216,919. Or sorry, not dollars. That would be the amount of XRP you would need to retire with $3 million. And that's if XRP gets up to $13.83. Okay, let's say XRP does get up to 1929, okay? To retire with $3 million, and we divide by 1929, all you would need is 155,520. So 155,520 XRP. So just filling in these numbers there. But let's say, guys, we were in a real world utility situation and XRP does go up. And again, guys, these are fairly conservative numbers too. I mean, we could see XRP going up to 3 or 4 digits even. Not unrealistic, but certainly not for right now. That would be projected into the future. So again, you'd have to kind of feel out what your plan is before you decide that you're wealthy enough to retire. Let's divide 3 million by $95.39 per coin. Well, guys, in that case, you would only need about 31,449 XRP, 31,449. So, these numbers, again, are fairly doable. Remember, only having about 31,000 XRP brings you into the top 1 to 2%. So again, I don't know, after this cycle, you might want to consider loading up on more XRP. Again, that's not financial advice. You can see what my strategy is, of course, at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. This is where I'm analyzing the market, discussing what my strategy is, my personal strategy for cashing out of my XRP, but other cryptocurrencies as well. And I am only charging $5 a month. It's less than some people pay for coffee every single day. So if that's something that you're interested in, follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for more information on that. Okay, guys, let's get back to this. $10 million. I mean, this is a pretty comfortable number, don't you think? Having 10 million in the bank. And again, this is 10 million liquid. This does not even include all the other money that you may have saved over the years that you might have in your bank account. So I don't know. Okay, let's take a look. $10 million. We divide that by 1383. Well, now you'd need 723,065 XRP. So 723, 0.65. So significantly more XRP, guys, even at that $13, 13 and change dollar target there for XRP. Well, what if XRP went to 1929 to cash out with $10 million divided by 1929? You'd need 518,403. So let's put that in there, 518,403 XRP. So you'd still need quite a bit of XRP in that particular case. But what about in a tokenized world, guys, if XRP does go up to $95? And again, this might take a few years still, but to get your net worth up to $10 million using an XRP, or rather cashing out of an XRP worth just about $95, just over $95, all you would need is just above 100,000 XRP, which technically in the grand scheme of things really isn't a lot. If you think to yourself, XRP at a time was worth about 30 cents. And so if you think about that, at 30 cents to get 104,832 XRP, you multiply that by, I'll do that again, 104,832 XRP. No, 832 XRP times 30 cents. That would have been an investment of about $31,450 roughly. So not a lot in the grand scheme of things if you think you can retire off of $10 million. And even if you have to wait a few years, this may be the path you want to take. And guys, as far as I'm concerned, the 4-year cycle theory is still in play here. You might still have time to do this over the next cycle. So again, for more information on where I think the market's going to go, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. I should also mention that the Working Money Channel merch store is up and running. If you guys are interested in purchasing some Working Money Channel merch, you can swing by. Link is in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.